There we go. We're
There
spinning
we
in.
go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We're going to introduce Lauren from somewhere in Germany. Lauren, what is the name of your hometown?
It's called Augsburg, and it's the second oldest town in Germany. So at the moment we have, not at the moment, like for a long time we have the fight if Augsburg or Kempten is the second oldest, because the oldest one is Trier. But Augsburg here, South Germany and Bavaria, that's
Nice.
basically where I'm from.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've lived in Augsburg.
I mean, I was born in Augsburg, then I grew up here, then a bit further down south in the Alps and the Crazy Mountains. Um,
Nice.
then also still in Bavaria at the Ammersee, and then moved like from country to country, checked out different countries, and yeah, I met Gareth
What?
in Vietnam. Now
Whoa,
I'm back here in Augsburg.
Vietnam. Yes. Awesome, man. The population of Augsburg, is it like lots of folks or not so many folks?
Like we are considered a Großstadt, on the maps when you get like the biggest symbol, the square, I think,
Oh,
on
nice.
most
Yeah.
maps. So that's for I think 200K, and we're around 250K. It depends what you count around it, the suburbs and stuff. But yeah, it's nice. I like it. It's a good size because um I mean for example, Berlin, I would probably also stay in an area the size of Augsburg as a quarter, and Augsburg is a pretty nice quarter. So yeah, 250 people, 250K sounds good.
So I know Germany on the economic scale sits pretty high up in Europe. Where does Augsburg sit in Germany? Is it one of the richer, one of the poorer cities?
We're pretty high up, so we can still see even after the DDR, Eastern Germany, um, rejoined Germany, or we got reunited, and you can still see the past and the traces and the tracks of communism, and they're generally a poorer area there, and like basically all statistics, and
Yeah.
Bavaria is fine out, and yeah, Munich is doing well. Some cities are like just rich people hotspots. Augsburg is not one of them, but Augsburg's doing well. Augsburg's fine, I guess.
Okay. So we mentioned commies. The political leaning currently, what do you feel is the strongest sort of way that Augsburg's going? Is it a more left wing city, a more right wing city, a more sort of centrist, chilled out place?
Augsburg in Bavaria, Bavaria in general is like um like Texas. So Merkel's party is considered the conservative party here.
Okay.
Yeah, some people won't believe it in other countries, but this is the conservative party. Our other big party, like the Democrats, is the SPD, the Social Democrats. Um, and yeah, so Bavaria has their own part. It's not directly Merkel's party, but they for elections for whole Germany they basically work together and represent almost the same. So
When it's convenient, they're on the same side.
sorry.
When it's convenient, then they're on the same side.
When it's convenient, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
Explain
is staying the same, but it's still there in South Germany, moving more to the left, I would say.
more to the left. Okay, let's move to something a little more fun. Explain the food to me. I know a lot of my German friends are very patriotic about their local dishes. What do you think the best meal and the worst meal I could get in Augsburg is?
Um, the best meal is probably it. Italian food, so let's cancel that out and stay with something original. And I would just go to a beer garden, hang out, maybe do a brewery tour if you're a tourist and you're into that kind of stuff. Hang out in the beer garden, get some pretzels and
That's
Oberster
something
with
I
that.
noticed. Yeah, that's something I noticed in Germany was each beer garden had a really good kitchen attached, where a lot of the rest of the world, it's generic chips. It's like
Yeah,
Simba chips in a bag or like Lay's at the bar. And that just doesn't cut it when you want to hang out with your buddies and have a couple of beers. But in Germany, there was always like a really good kitchen where they had their own recipes. Like every different beer garden I stopped at.
it was, and they get really mad. Like one of my colleagues called out the Kässpatzen. You know Kässpatzen?
What is Käsespätzle?
You know, there's some kind of egg noodles, and you
Egg
make them
noodle.
with cheese and roasted onions, and sometimes for roast sauce on top of it. So some pepper. It's good.
That sounds
But yeah, so they get really excuse me. They get really mad when they ask, and how were the Kässpatzen? You say like, yeah, good for Augsburg, because you still feel the rivalry. And then the chef comes out and asks my colleague again, like, what did you say? He was like, yeah, well, I'm from the Allgäu region. You know, I like them a little bit different, but they're all right for Augsburg. So yeah, Kässpatzen is another thing you can get here. And they're all right for Augsburg in the beer garden. And yeah, they have their own recipes, and they're really pissed off when you criticize them.
What would your top three trip tips be for a traveler, for someone coming through?
Repeat that, please.
What are your top three tips for a traveler coming through Augsburg?
Depends what kind of traveler and what they're looking for. We have to
Let's say
specify that a bit.
backpacker. Let's say a backpacker.
Um, don't stay in the Jugendherberge youth hostel,
Okay, good to know.
because it's nothing like you expect. It's not a place where you meet backpackers. I worked there for a while. I don't want to talk shit about them, but if I was a backpacker, I wouldn't stay there. Let's say that.
Sure.
Yeah, do some couch surfing, and also, yeah, that's one thing to do in Augsburg. Avoid staying at the Jugendherberge. Go to another hostel, do couch surfing, stay at a buddy, stay in a hotel. No Jugendherberge if you're really a backpacker.
Oh,
This the second thing to do in Augsburg is to see the Fuggerei. It's interesting from every point of view. It's the oldest social village in the world,
okay,
and
that's pretty cool.
they were founded by the Fugger, when you pronounce it English, the Fugger family, and they were like the first big trade family in Augsburg and the region in South Germany. So they were rich people, and part of like the highest ranks, and they built a social village, and it's still there, and people still pay the equivalent rent that they used to pay back in the day. And it's, I think, around 80 something cents per year, but they still have to be home on time, pray for the Fugger family, because they were still in that kind of Christianity, whereas, like, you know, you
Them are some
pay the
old school
church, you
boogers.
pray, you're fine in heaven.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, that's
so yeah, that's what's happening. It's interesting. Walk through it and have some good Bavarian Swabian food around there. And the third thing, well, Augsburg. If you're a backpacker, see one of the underground parties. It's enough culture. You've been to the Fuggerei. You've seen it all. Underground parties, depends what you're into. You will find something,
no.
either in Augsburg or somewhere around. We have a bigger forest.
A forest
go
big
find
enough
one
to
of
hide a
these.
party.
Sorry?
A forest big enough to hide a party.
A forest big enough to hide a party, and yeah, good enough to hide a party. Last year with Corona, it was pretty hard because there the police were super on point, because for a couple of months we were basically locked in, had to be at home at 10. So
Yeah.
if they hear music, they know let's fuck them up. So it was hard, but generally speaking, good outdoor parties, barbecues at the river, always a good idea.
What's the German word for barbecue?
Grillen.
Grillen. In South Africa, we say braai. Yeah.
Braai. For example,
What?
braten. Braten is for frying stuff.
Oh, cool. That's awfully close. Yeah, no, braai is our outdoors cooking food on a fire.
Okay.
We normally do open fire, not the traditional American built-up barbecue. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we never do it on gas. In our opinion, that's for the ladies.
Yeah. Real
What is the
fire.
cheapest place I could stay in Augsburg in US dollars per night?
I think hostel is around $20
$20
in the city
for a
center. But outside,
okay.
25 euros for a private room is like always when I walk to the tram. At the moment, I'm not walking to the tram because I own an e-scooter. Now they're legal in Germany, like big restrictions still, but they're legal. So
Park on the highway. No e-scooter on the autobahn.
no, they're
Not
limited
yet.
to 22 kilometers per hour. So like, I don't know, 15 miles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no e-scooter drive-bys, like not this week.
Nope.
We're
Both
gonna have to
hands
wait.
to the handlebar. Anyway, yeah, but when I drive past there, I see the sign, Zimmer, room, 25 euros. So there you can have a private room, and it takes me 9 minutes to the city center. So it's fine.
Do you ever hear about South Africa on your local news?
It's really hard. It's really hard to tell because I rarely focus on my local news.
Well, on any German news?
On any German news, it's pretty rare that the German news reports about Africa. They reported about the riots, of course, the last riots. But
Well, those are seasonal for us. We
sorry?
just have riots. Those are seasonal for us now. We just have seasonal
Yeah,
riots.
but it was I don't know, I saw 80% more, I guess, when I followed the Twitter riot news South Africa rabbit hole to see what's happening there. So
Yeah.
better source for that.
Do you have any cool local celebrities?
So there used to be a guy called Roy Black. He had after World War II, when American soldiers were still stationed in Augsburg, he played for them, and he played rock and roll, and then he moved over to being like the star for all the young ladies and sing some cheesy songs.
A bit of a crooner. I think the word for that is a crooner.
A crooner, probably like that. And
like
his
Frank
name was
Sinatra.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, but he had no connections as far as I know. So anyway, and wait, that was just sorry, I needed that for a setup because he's past the time, and now there's a new thing coming out of Augsburg. It's like Italo Schlager, and they're called Roy Bianco, not Roy Black, and they're basically Italo. How can you describe that in English? Italo disco trash.
Italian trash disco, like white trash, so trashy it's glamorous.
It's really glamorous, yes, with Ferraris and stuff.
Like what the
And
Antwerps were going for. Like the guy from the
no,
Antwerps always says, it's so cuck, it's more
the opposite, way opposite.
The other
Really
side.
like la 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 la.
It's so high class, it's actually trashy.
I mean, you have to check it out, Roy Bianco, if you're into that on YouTube. They have one album. They released it, and it's called Greatest Hits, and it's made up in a bar where my brother works and I work, and not all of them, one of them, and yeah, they're young guys, and they lied on their Wikipedia about being like the award winner of the greatest Schlager, like kind of beer tent music band in the 80s. So it's all fake. It's a fake band with fake
Like 9
history.
years before they were born, they were winning awards.
Mhm. And first
I
album
heard
is the greatest hits.
sweet. I heard that Chuck Norris was born 4 years before his own father.
I didn't know Chuck Norris was born. I thought Chuck Norris was there. He was like he existed before existence existed. Like first there was Chuck Norris, and
Then
then
the big and other stuff.
yeah, I mean I think it was like world was happening, and Chuck Norris just landed his highest or hardest kick, and a big bang happened. And I think next time Chuck Norris lands a very, very hard kick, maybe a new big bang happens, so the whole thing starts again. And we're just so close to reaching Chuck Norris's hardest kick ever, where he creates another big bang.
Endless cycle of roundhouse kicks, just starting and
Mhm.
ending universes.
Yep.
The most important question that I ask all the guests, and some of them just say, well, it's illegal, so I can't answer. What is the weed like?
Very
Mind you,
illegal.
You guys have very cool neighbors. You could just drive over to the Netherlands and pick up and smoke weed there.
That's absolutely true. And yeah, the weed like here about Germany at the moment, there are elections, and most parties actually position themselves at the let's legalize it. And
Nice.
so we are on a good
But
way. But
somehow it doesn't get legalized.
so Merkel's party always had something against it.
And
And
this is the first
so
year.
so this is the first time no Merkel is there, and there could be a chance to have like build a government without having a contract that won't allow weed in place. So something good might happen, but at the moment everything you can think about weed is illegal except smoking it. So I smoke weed. I can openly tell people that I smoke weed because it's absolutely legal
But you
to
can't
consume
get it,
it,
you can't grow
but I
it,
can't
you
own
can't
it.
have it.
I can't get it. So I don't know how it always ends up in my lungs. But yeah,
It's the
so it's
butterfly theory, man. Some guy blows out a blunt in Brazil. It catches an air thermal dynamic. It spins through Spain. It jumps up into the German stratosphere and comes down into your lungs.
bam. I
Every
hate
time.
those
It's
fucking
me, dude.
butterfly effects, man.
It's me, dude. Every time I puff out one of these, at least one drag goes your way.
Yeah. So I mean, here we have a long way to go. During lockdowns, you felt it. You felt that borders were closed, and the supply chain really depends on open borders. So it's
Yeah.
money that goes outside of Germany. So it's basically just another sign from the whole site that you can just make a business out of that. And there are so many examples.
Hell
And
yeah.
yeah,
Now that all the restrictions have been lifted, how many euros would a long weekend in the Netherlands cost me if I wanted to go, say, accommodation for 3 nights, smoking weed for 3 nights, and a bus there and back from Germany?
I had that last month, and it was really nice because we still have the mask mandates here, but the Netherlands dropped it.
Oh, sweet.
And it felt nice breathing, going inside a restaurant, not putting the mask on, walking to
It looks like we may have lost Lauren. There's a bit of a delay on my terrible African internet, but we've been doing 21 minutes, which is one of our longer interviews. So I think I'm going to end our broadcast there. I know as I click the end broadcast button, he will jump right back in. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the show. If there's other people you want me to interview, if there's questions you want me to add, let me know, and we'll see if we can make it work. And we just added Lauren to the stream for the second time. I was just busy doing my goodbyes, saying we've lost Lauren because of my shitty African internet, but you're back. Woohoo!
I think it was mine. I think it was actually mine.
Everything in Germany always works perfectly. Come on, we need to
Yeah.
believe that in Africa. Otherwise, we have like nothing left to aspire to.
All right. Wait a minute. Let's sum it up. I think 500 euros with accommodation, and you don't have to be on a budget and smoke the €9 hash, and you can go wild and have those moonrock joints, and a good time if you're into.
Dude,
Sorry.
Even at the greediest, stingiest drug like weed sales shop in South Africa, 500 euros would get you a month's supply. Like €9. What is 10 euros in rands is like $160. So their joints are starting at what our joints end at.
Well, that's a gram. That's a gram of hash they sold. That was like the cheapest hash. The stuff that we also in Germany sometimes call the Punkplatte. The Platte because, yeah, die Punkplatte. You know it.
Yes.
That kind of hash.
God.
So.
Yeah. Which country has had the best weed, in your opinion, throughout all your travels?
Oh. It's really hard, man.
I have a definitive answer, but it was a strange one-off occurrence. It wasn't like I had a weed shop I could go to.
I think it was California. I have to say California.
Nice. The American fans are going to absolutely love that, dude. They're very, very proud of their different weeds and strains. The strongest joint I ever smoked in my entire life was in Hong Kong, which is strange.
In Hong Kong.
It's an area where weed's completely illegal.
Yeah,
Like,
but
very
if they do it properly, I guess.
Well, yeah, I met a local guy who was very, very local. He had Free Hong Kong tattooed on the one side of his neck, and he had like a weed symbol, like a chemical formula tattooed on the other side of his neck.
Is he in prison now?
He might be. He might be.
Fuck.
But
yeah.
Yeah, he pointed out a local homeboy to me across the street and said, like, yeah, go tell that guy it's okay to give you a joint. And so the guy didn't charge me for it or anything, and it was only in one of those little. I've got them around here somewhere. These ones. These short ass Rizzlers, these really tiny little things. That
Uh,
like that's a normal joint, and then this is these funny.
yeah, I know them.
diffuses.
Yeah, we have them for normal cigarettes.
And the dude, yeah, a lot of guys use them here with the actual filters, and they roll tobacco with it. And the guy gave me this little joint, and I went upstairs, and I'm I'm like 100% sure that was just weed, because I've smoked so much weed and I've tried so many other things throughout my life. I would recognize if it wasn't, but I just had to sit the fuck down for 15 minutes. It was something else. It was like the first time you've had dabs crossed with the first time you've ever had weed times by 10.
Yeah.
And he said it was a strain that I knew really well. He's like, "Oh, this is Skywalker," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've grown Skywalker. I've grown Skywalker from Dutch Passion, and I've grown Skywalker from Sensei Seeds." I was like, "I already know this. Like, this is good weed." And I smelled it, and I was like, "Whew, dude, it smells like some really, really strong Skywalker." And I only took about 3 or 4 drags, and I legit had to take a 15-minute sit down. Like, I've smoked weed in the Netherlands, I've smoked weed in Vietnam, I've smoked weed in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, all over the planet, in Thailand. And that Hong Kong weed knocked me on my ass so strong that maybe it was one of those weird freak occurrences, like it was just a strain or a genetic I'd never run into before, and I had like zero tolerance to. But maybe those Hong
Where
Kong
have you
boys
been
are bigger.
before? Did you have tolerance before? No, you
There,
came. I mean, you came from Vietnam, so you had
no,
your
I came straight
tolerance.
from South Africa.
You came
I
from
came
South
straight from
Africa
South
to Hong
Africa.
Kong.
Yeah, we went from Vietnam back to South Africa, got married, smoked a ton of weed for the entire like 3 or 4 months around planning the wedding and getting the wedding ready. Never mind at the wedding, smoked a ton of weed. Then went to Hong Kong, didn't smoke for like 2 days, and ran into that guy and smoked his joint. But the whole time that I was in Hong Kong, I had my dropper bottle with me with my THC distillate, and I was taking drops on my tongue, so I didn't think my tolerance was dropping.
Hmm.
It's just you can't sneak bud through airport, but distillate eyedropper bottles are really easy.
Yeah. Or maybe they just are very good with their chemicals and their
hiding stuff in other stuff.
No, in Hong Kong. I don't know. I'm sure they have a lot of laboratories where they.
The dude was definitely on my side. You know, he was like, "Oh my god, thank you so much for coming and helping us in the riots, and I can't believe international people give a fuck." And he was like, "Yeah, I'll help you out. I'll get you some good weed." Like, I'm pretty sure he looked after me. He came and brought me a coffee and made sure that, like, you know, nobody was going to steal my wallet or my shoes or my cell phone, which in South Africa is the first thing. But the people in Hong Kong aren't really that criminal. You know, like, you know, their idea of criminal is more like business suit that ripped off the bank.
Well, I think then
That
it's time to, or I think the time is the time has passed. So I think it's over. Or do you think there's a last chance to visit Hong Kong, free Hong Kong? But I don't think.
Well, the Chinese government is eating itself from the inside. And the Hong Kong people are really strong and really good at standing together no matter what the fuck happens in China. So whether China stays on course or falls apart or goes into complete civil war or whatever.
Hey, maybe we have to go to Taiwan. Maybe the strongest Swede changed place, and now we have to go join protests in Taiwan.
Dude, it's probably just one master Asian grower that we're trying to follow around the world from like disaster to disaster. It looks like Lauren's amazing German internet is cut out again. Are you back?
I'm back.
Oh, wait, you're back. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Sweet. I'm just about finished up here. All my roading tasks for the night. Going to hit a few fat dabs. Where is your next destination? Where are you going the next time you can travel?
So I'm staying in Germany this year. I've been to Amsterdam last month. So yeah, just a city trip somewhere. I have to talk to my girlfriend. We'll figure it out. But then I don't know. My next destination. I really have to leave. I need an adventure again.
Yes, yeah, we need to go and like I don't know, meet in like Patagonia, riding horses with the cowboys in Argentina, or fucking go do the Mongolian trail along the Great Wall of China, but on the Mongolia side.
Ah,
You know, one of those proper adventures.
I don't really know if I feel Mongolia.
Dude,
It's like
come,
how
come to
many?
South Africa.
97% live in Ulaanbaatar, and the rest is just nothing. Nobody. Just people getting drunk on Mongolian moonshine.
Yep. Come to South Africa. We can throw a small war revolution and overtake Rhodesia. It'll be awesome. We'll write a constitution and everything.
Is South Africa letting people in at the moment?
Um, I don't think the government even knows what the fuck's going on. Yeah, I'm sure they're letting people in because my mother-in-law, who's British, just went on a visit to Kenya and came back, and then went on a visit to England and came back.
Okay. No, my buddy came here and he um still had to do the tests. And he had to pay for them himself. So one in Germany and one over there in the UK. And
Shit.
quarantine, I think 5 days. And he also had to quarantine 5 days in Germany. So it was still
I don't,
a waste of
dude.
time.
It's such a money-making scam, dude. The first time they charged the first cent for the first test, I was just like, this is all some bullshit. They almost didn't want me to see to be there for the birth of my son in the hospital because of stupid COVID restrictions. And I just kind of told them to get fucked. And I didn't realize what horrible situation South Africa was in because I told the lady, go call security. And she just kind of looked at me like, we don't have security anymore. We haven't been able to afford that for a while. And I was like, well, fine. Then I'm just going through. Did Lauren froze again? Let's end the broadcast there.